This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards. On this episode of the Metal Queens podcast, it is Lisa Rieger from Aurora Ghost. We are diving deep today on this episode into the hauntingly powerful world of ghost metal and symphonic metal, guided by none other than Lisa, vocalist, growler, lyricist, and concept artist behind Aurora and the band Hydra, too, with a voice that seamlessly blends the angelic and the monstrous. Lisa brings the Beauty and the Beast vocal style to life in every performance. Beyond her fierce stage presence, she also works as a dispatcher and social worker with a master's degree, proving that strength comes in many forms. They have a new single out, Anomaly. You should check out that video on YouTube. But let's welcome Lisa Rieger, Aurora Ghost, to the Metal Queens podcast for the first time. Welcome.
Hi, Steve. Nice to have you here and nice to meet you. I'm Lisa.
Joining us from the south of Germany. Let's start at the beginning, Lisa. What kind of music did you grow up listening to, and when did metal enter your life?
Actually, my parents listened to a lot of rock music. So I grew up with rock bands such as Bon Jovi, for example,
Mm.
Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, but they also liked pop acts such as Phil Collins. So I think I already listened to a big variety of different bands and acts when I was a child. And I think starting with 10 or 11 years, I began myself exploring further in the rock and metal section. I afterwards, after Bon Jovi, I listened a lot to him, for example, and then I started to dig deeper into metal with Nightwish, Within Temptation. And then I think I was 14 or 15, um, began to check out more extreme metal bands with lots of growling and other genres of metal such as black metal, death metal. And I found bands such as Winter Sun or Ensiferum, for example, from Finland, which I enjoyed a lot. And this is basically where my journey into music began.
You mentioned Within Temptation and Winter Sun there. What about their sound or style resonated with you the most?
Um, in Within Temptation, it's definitely Sharon's voice, which
Mm.
draw me into the band. It's also still nowadays one of the biggest influences of myself. I loved her high operatic voice, which still has kind of a pop approach, and which is what I used a lot in music when making music and still do nowadays. And in Winter Sun, it's the soundscapes. Yari Manpe, the band creator, is writing in his music. It's so overwhelming and emotional, and it's nothing short of stunning. And it's always something in Winter Sun, no matter if it's the outstanding clean vocals or the growls or the really stunning music with lots of variety and instrumentality in it, which keeps me drawing back to Winter Sun from time to time. And I still nowadays listen frequently to them over 20 years now.
Mm. How do you blend these genres that we're talking about here, melodic death metal, classical music, when writing or arranging vocals?
Usually, the instrumental is what comes first when writing music, at least when writing for Hydra or Aurora Ghost. And Chris is one of the main songwriters, or he is, I think, doing almost 80-90% of the stuff we are writing actually. And he always starts more in the extreme metal section, means that for example he likes to use double bass or blast beats, really heavy drums, and then begins to blend and mix some classical elements such as string quartet, for example, to it, or choir arrangements, and then we begin to build the voice around that. So we are writing the different parts of songs and then decide if, for example, growling or clean voices are fitting better in a certain part. And then after a few weeks, sometimes months, everything's coming together.
What's the process for switching between the clean vocals and deep growls, those styles, both in the studio and in live performances?
When in studio, we strictly separate everything. For example, when I record a whole album, I focus I focus at first, for example, on the clean vocals. So let's say I'm working 4 or 5 days clean vocals only, because it's a different approach. It's a different mood, of course, when singing as well. So this makes sense to separate from each other, and then I get in a more let's call it vivid atmosphere maybe. And I also sometimes take the recording microphone in my hands when recording growls, because it has more of a dynamic feeling and needs other specifications, as for example clean singing needs. And when it comes to live, of course it's a whole different process, because we in Hydra, or also especially Aurora Ghost, have songs in which we have the growls, and immediately after let's say 1 2 seconds after the growls, we have the clean voice. So you have to switch within a few seconds or even milliseconds. Yeah, but to be honest, it's not a really huge difference between clean and harsh vocals. So it's just a kind of mood, kind of turning the switch. Yeah, and so this takes place within a few seconds, and it's no problem at all. It feels kind of natural for me, because I know when switching from growls to clean vocals that it's fitting the certain atmosphere of the part that's coming afterwards. So um, I think most of the time it's quite effortless for me, but still, as already explained, it's a quite different process compared to studio.
Yeah, Lisa, many vocalists struggle with maintaining harsh vocals without damage. How did you train your growls and maintain vocal health?
At first, I looked in my technique, considering the clean vocals. So, how do I proceed high notes, low notes, without having any damage or having any throat problems, for example? And then I focused on my stomach and on the bass down there, in which I also have the air and the pressure to create strong clean vocals. And to be honest, it's not that difficult if you want to do the classic rolling style. Um, I um, I do not have a huge variety of growling, because I know there are so much more aspects when getting deeper into it, such as fry screams, for example, stuff like that, which our screamer in Aurora Ghost is capable of, but I'm not. But in case you have that bass down there in your stomach, in case you have that bass built up, and you have a lot of breath, it's at least from my point of view quite easy to do generic, let's call it doom gothic metal growls, for example. And when first trying out, I noticed really fast that it does not do any damage to my throat. So obviously, it was the right technique to do it a little bit similar to my clean singing style, and therefore I knew, okay, I'm fine with that. I can go on, I can continue. And what proves that I obviously have the right technique is that I do not get any problems after singing it maybe 1 or 2 hours. So I think I found a nice way to do it.
How did you meet the two guys in the band?
Um, Chris, the other male clean singer, we met at a Hydra concert a few years ago. I think maybe around 2018 or so. We supported Edenbridge and Diabolus in Musica. And there he was as one of the supporters of them, but he already knew our music as well. And yeah, we got into contact because he only lives like 1 hour away.
Hmm.
And then we were searching for a clean singer. At first, we wanted a clean singer that's also capable to do, who's also capable to do harsh vocals as well. So we didn't have him in mind, but then we met Fabi, of which we thought at first could do the clean vocals as well. But then he told us that he's only doing the screams in the band. And we said, okay, your screams, you can do anything from death screams to very low screams. We want to have you in Aurora Ghost with your variety. But now we need to have an additional clean singer. And then we made an ad in Facebook. We had a few applicants. We checked out a few auditions. But then Chris came to our mind, and then we asked him to record 2 demo songs of Annie's Okay. Don't know if you know that band, metalcore band from Germany. And we were like, if he's just half as good as the singer there is and is capable of doing also a bit higher vocal lines and not only very low male vocals, he would fit so much in our band. We already knew that Chris had that certain modern sound in his voice that might fit Aurora Ghost quite well. That was why we asked him, and his demos were quite promising. And no matter if it's Chris or Fabi, there are also 2 very, very nice, kind people. And we thought those 2 guys are perfect in our quartet, Aurora Ghost, actually.
What differentiates Aurora Ghost and Hydra in terms of sound, energy, and vision?
That's a nice question. To be honest, the first songs, for example, Starbound of Aurora Ghost, was originally written for Hydra. At that time, it was around 2019-20. When we last played live, we wanted to evolve our sound. We wanted to become heavier, wanted to leave symphonic metal a little bit. Be more progressive, add more harsh vocals, for example. And this was the point in which we thought a lot about should we release it still as Hydra or maybe with a completely new project. And then we decided that we are done with the name Hydra when it comes to the new music, because there are kind of like 20 other bands with the name Hydra in the world. So we said, okay, we need something new, something fresh. We also had already some modern metal style songs written, like the last one, Anomaly, for example. And then we were like, okay, we need a new name, something modern, something yeah, in the modern metal section with a little bit metalcore influences. And this is what is the difference in style as well. So Hydra is more still like in the symphonic metal direction, whereas Aurora Ghost is more modern, is heavier, has more harsh vocals and modern deathcore style screams, for example. And the difference also with Hydra, we had that one concept like symphonic metal releasing albums, like one genre we wanted to fit in. And with Aurora Ghost, it's more like we want to create the most wonderful songs we are capable of, no matter which exact style they are. So as already said, we have with Starbound something that has a little bit symphonic roots, but is heavier. Then we have metalcore influences with Taming the Abyss, our second single, for example. And Anomaly, I think, has the most pop approach out of those 3. So Aurora Ghost is more a project with bigger variety, I think, compared to Hydra.
You mentioned Anomaly, and you can check out that single now on YouTube in the video. What's the story behind that song?
The story behind that song is mostly about relationships. So I was writing and I had in mind past relationships. I was thinking about what went wrong on my side, on the side of the other one, of course. And it's like facing the demons in relationships, having problems, and but also realizing that sometimes there is a point of no return in which you say, okay, I have to release everything. I have to get free from everything, and I have to move on and have to get rid of those demons and problems the past relationship or the current relationship is still causing, and then abandoning this and moving on, growing wings, and looking forward to the future. So I always like to write songs with set topics, but I love when they have a little bit of a positive approach somewhere in the text.
Speaking of relationships, you mentioned relationships. Hydra started in 2013 with your husband. What's it like creating music with someone you're so close to personally?
To be honest, when Chris and I met, which was also in 2013, yes, genau, we weren't a couple yet. We came together in 2014, but before becoming a couple, we just created music in the first months, in the first year. Yeah, so we started as friends, let's say it like that, and then became a couple. But I think when I look at the whole process over the years, nothing has changed significantly.
Mhm.
Um, it's something that really unites us, that really is a special bond between us. And what I really loved all the years is that there is room to criticize things, to tell when something is not the way you want it. So I have the feeling that Chris wants to make compromises in case when needed, and same goes for me. So this is an element that connects us as friends, and that is a hobby that we love both so much. And but besides that, I think okay, we are recording and doing everything in the same house, of course. But besides that, it doesn't differ, I think, from making music with our other good friends or so. Yeah.
Mhm. Aurora Ghost leans into ghost metal, hence the name. For those unfamiliar, Lisa, how would you define ghost metal and what sets it apart?
What sets it apart? It's on the one side what I've already told you a bit of, that it is not in one certain direction, but it is something. It is experimental. For example, we try to always integrate different things. We don't fear integrating pop elements or something like this. And I think the ghost element in the project is because we always try to create a little bit ghostly, otherworldly atmosphere. So like a sphere that is a soundscape of other instruments as typical band instruments. Let it be maybe the string quartet or something other electrical influences, or sometimes I create kind of a siren singing in the songs that gives it that certain otherworldly vibe that I think goes quite well with the terminus ghost in Aurora Ghost.
I mentioned in the introduction you're a social worker too, being both a vocalist and social worker. Sounds pretty intense, Lisa. How do you balance such emotionally demanding roles?
Yeah, that's right. I worked full time as a social worker until 2022. So 40 hours a week. Yes, that was quite demanding because you had so close contact to many people, families, so much problems.
Yeah,
Had to solve, you had to work with. So music always is and was at that time a way for me to get out of all that stress I have in everyday life and work.
yeah.
And this creative process helps me to heal when I have free time. I think I can call it like that. Yeah, and nowadays, since almost 2 years now, I'm full-time dispatcher, and I only work in social department a bit, in consulting, for example, when people have questions around education or relationship problems, something like this. So I'm um, part-time, self-employed. I think can call it like that. Coaching people, and this is the balance I needed after all those years, because the work as a dispatcher is feels and is easier for me and even gives me more energy to be creative as a musician. And then the addition to be a little bit self-employed and can also work with humans in the social department is the best combination I could have hoped for. So I think finally with 36, I'm quite settled in my job and I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm sure the growling was a good release during those times too.
Definitely,
It
yes.
had to be. What's
Yes.
something about you? I read about your appetite somewhere that fans might be surprised to learn.
Something that fans might be surprised to learn. Let me think about that. Okay, I'm not only a musician, I also have an art project. I think I can call it like that, a big nerd. And I have a science fiction art project since I think 2017 or so, which is called Aliens on Apple Trees. And I haven't painted or released there anything in the last 2 or 3 years, but I have there lots of stuff concerning aliens, dark art, and I do digital paintings as well as analog paintings with acrylic colors, for example, everything, whatever comes to mind. And I also use this creativity in art to sometimes create album covers or single covers. So, for example, if you search for the Anomaly single cover, that was mine.
Nice. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh,
great.
thank you.
All right. So the big question here, you've got these singles out. What's next for you musically and any touring plans for the end of this year and into next year?
With Aurora Ghost, we are planning to continue with our single releasing activities. So we already have a new demo, and I think we will record that soon. Of course, I'd love to do a music video as well, because I think you know we have released with every of the three singles we have already out with Aurora Ghost a video that goes along with it.
Yeah.
It's of course a lot of work and sometimes it costs some money as well, but it makes so much fun. And I think it's typical for the nowadays music industry to release singles and videos that go along. Otherwise, I think you have no chance to get recognized to a wider audience. So we will continue with that. And about the touring plans, I can't tell you anything further on that yet because initially Aurora Ghost started as a fully studio project, which means you're just releasing singles, maybe sometimes later an album or so. We also are thinking about merchandise, but at the moment I can't tell anything about plans to jump on stage. But never say never. In case a nice festival finds our music is showing up, maybe we will put together a live lineup. We have, of course, lots of contacts to potential good musicians we could hire and invite us with us on stage. So yeah, never say never. Maybe we will tour in the future. We will see.
All right. You'll have to follow them on social to find out. Yeah, and it's
Yes.
interesting. You're mentioning singles. A lot of the bands I'm talking to now are just doing that. They're releasing
Mhm.
singles, not an album or an EP right away. They'll go a long time with just releasing singles and videos first. So very common now. Well, Lisa Rieger, a true force of nature, both vocally and creatively, whether she's crafting ethereal soundscapes or unleashing guttural roars. Her presence in the metal world is unmistakable. Make sure to check out her bands Hydra and Aurora Ghost and check out the videos too and the latest single Anomaly. And don't forget to follow her for the latest releases, behind the scenes moments, and more info on potential show dates coming next year as well. Lisa Rieger, thanks for joining me here on the Metal Queens podcast.
You're welcome. It was such a pleasure to talk to you, Steve. Thank you.
Same here. And thanks so much, Lisa. And thank you for watching. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards.